Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video. I'm RexFinance and I'm glad to be back because today we're talking about an important company that has just skyrocketed over the past 48 hours. But before that, you may be wondering, Rex, you got different scenery. So I'm sure most of you have noticed, this isn't my typical setup. I just got moved back into college, so this is the best I can do for now. So I hope you guys can stem the tide and stick with me through this video. My old setup will be back up and running next video. So if you don't mind, just stick through this video and we'll be back to my old ways sooner than you know. But before we get into this video about GEVO, I just have to say we are just shy of hitting 9,000 subscribers. 2 weeks ago, exactly to this day, we hit 7,000 subscribers. This last Friday, we hit 8,000 subscribers, and now we're about to hit 9,000 subscribers. The growth has been insane. I can't thank you guys enough for sharing the videos with your friends and family, or even just watching them yourselves and supporting my channel. In addition to that, I also just hit 100 paid members to Rex Nation. Rex Nation is now 100 plus people big, which is also insane considering I'm a 19-year-old and there's that many people out there that are willing to pay $5 a month to get automatic buy and sell alerts when I buy and sell a stock, the private members only Discord channel, private members only live streams every Saturday, etc., etc. It's just mind-boggling to me. So if you guys are interested in joining Rex Nation, hit the join button down below. It should be right next to the subscribe button. Hit the join button for some more information. So the first thing we should talk about is what exactly is GEVO? GEVO is a very, very neat company with disruptive and patented technology, which I talk a lot about on my channel, being the deal breaker and the winning ticket for a lot of these companies. If they have disruptive technology and if they have patents on that disruptive technology, more than likely they're going to succeed. So today I'm going to be giving you my opinion on GEVO, whether it's too late to buy in, whether you should sell, whether you should avoid the stock completely. That's what we're going to be talking about today. GEVO has developed a zero-emission gasoline, diesel fuel, and jet fuel. They have contracts with Delta Airlines, for example, as well as they just secured a $1.5 billion contract with another company, which is what caused the stock price to move so much recently. That is pretty crazy technology. I mean, you're talking about zero emissions on gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel, the three main fuel sources that we use as consumers today. You're taking away the emissions from that fuel. That is crazy, disruptive technology that could really, really succeed. In addition to that, GEVO is the only company and the only publicly traded company that has this technology and this technology that is patented. That's another reason why this stock looks so great and this company looks so great to own. So because of this change in setup, you won't be able to see my face while I go to a different screen, so I hope you guys can avoid seeing my beautiful face. But if we go to GEVO's stock chart here, we can see they were trading at about 55 cents per share. Then all of a sudden, 2 days ago, we see a huge spike up to over $2 per share. Those are ridiculous numbers, and if you had owned shares at 55 cents a share, you would have 4x'd your money in a matter of hours. So obviously this big jump in the stock price was caused by the $1.5 billion contract that they inked. And if we look back on my channel at my $17,000 Robinhood stock market portfolio, which has now grown to over $50,000 since the end of June. So that's another thing that I've just been crazily blessed with, by the way. But we can see in this video, I highlighted GEVO at the end of the video when it was $1.08 a share. So after that, obviously, it tanked to 55 cents per share after GEVO announced a big public offering. However, at 55 cents a share, GEVO's market cap was $30 million. So you're talking about a $30 million company that gets a $1.5 billion contract deal. That is insane. That well surpasses their market cap, and that's why we saw the stock price explode. In addition to that, the CEO, Patrick Gruber, in the last previous conference call mentioned that they have multiple contracts in the pipeline that are the biggest, the best, and the greatest that GEVO has ever seen. That's another reason people have become so bullish on this company, because they know that this $1.5 billion contract is more than likely not the last big contract that GEVO is going to receive. Also, GEVO's company is an easy sell to investors, to customers, to anybody and everybody. Basically, what GEVO brings up is, why would you change the entire vehicle infrastructure, meaning move entirely over to electric vehicles and have to develop new fueling stations, get rid of the old gasoline pumps, all of this stuff that costs billions and billions of dollars just to get rid of emissions, when you can fix the problem at its root in the physical fuel itself. That's what GEVO is doing. They're taking the fuel using isobutanol and patented technology and removing the emissions from the fuel, and it works just as efficiently as the fuel does with the emissions as a part of the fuel. So GEVO saves lots of money, but there are many issues that I see with GEVO, and I'm going to go through those here shortly. So why don't I like the share price and where it's at currently? Well, it's been public knowledge for many, many months now that GEVO would be getting a large contract worth $1.5 billion. Like I just mentioned, CEO Patrick Gruber mentioned in the most previous conference call that they were looking at inking a contract deal worth $1.5 billion. So it's been public information for any investors that want to take this company seriously and hold this company for the long term. So when Patrick Gruber, the CEO of GEVO, goes in and says, we're going to ink this deal worth $1.5 billion, and the share price doesn't move until the deal is actually inked, that gives me mixed signals that, man, this could be a pump and dump, because why would long-term investors not have gotten in as soon as Patrick Gruber said that weeks ago in the conference call? In addition, as I have highlighted, this investor presentation was published on GEVO's investor relations page in the month of May. And as you can see, if investors wanted to dig into this company and was looking into investing in this company for the long term, you can see that they have this mentioned, advanced discussions for an additional $1.5 billion worth of take-or-pay contracts. This has been public knowledge that they've been close to receiving $1.5 billion worth of a contract for 3 months. So again, I go back to my point and why I think this could be a massive pump and dump. We see, this has been public information for any serious investors that wanted to hold this company and shares in the company for the long term. This has been public information for 3 months now. Why all of a sudden, when the contract is inked, does the share price quadruple? That is just telltale signs that we're going to see a pump and dump in the stock price. In fact, even if we just look at GEVO's share price today, we can see it dropped 33%. The number one thing I have learned in my short investing career is that every reaction in the stock market is an overreaction. So the reaction to GEVO getting the $1.5 billion worth of the contract was an overreaction, which we saw today by the share price dropping 33%. And yes, not all of the 33% drop was caused by the overreaction yesterday. Part of that was caused by the public $50 million offering that GEVO's management team just issued today. And that kind of leads me into my second reason I don't really like this company right now. I've been following this company for 3 or so years. Ever since I started investing, ever since I made my first investment in a company, I've been following GEVO because I saw their technology, saw it was disruptive, saw it had potential. But ever since I started following this company, I've seen that the management team and the board of directors doesn't seem to care a nitwit about the shareholders. Time and time again, GEVO stock has gone through stock reverse splits, followed by public offerings. What do we see today? Finally, shareholders get returned. Finally, shareholders get rewarded. And what do we see? We see GEVO's management team issue a public offering. Who does that in their right mind after punishing shareholders for years and years and years? Once shareholders finally see success, let's throw $50 million more into the market. The management team and the board of directors, like I've mentioned, it doesn't seem to give a crap about the everyday investor like you and me. In addition to that, another reason I don't really like this risk right now is because GEVO needs billions of dollars to acquire and retool former ethanol production plants that they don't currently own. They're going to need those billions of dollars to buy those production plants, retool them into being able to produce this zero emission diesel and gasoline. And on top of that, they're going to need to spend money to expand their main facility that they currently own. So that's billions and billions and billions of dollars that GEVO doesn't currently have. Now, yes, GEVO is in talks with Citigroup and they're finalizing a financing deal. But if you want to know the honest truth, the deal is not going to be in GEVO's favor. GEVO has no basis for the loan that they're going to get, and in my opinion, they're going to get hosed on the deal. They're going to have to pay a ridiculous interest rate, because what does GEVO have that they can secure a loan on? They don't have hardly anything other than 1 or 2 main facilities that aren't even producing anything currently. So I think GEVO is going to get hosed on that deal. But I do have to say, if the expansion project goes to plan, works out, and the financing goes through, and the terms are pretty good terms, and in GEVO's favor, it's not going to take long for GEVO to become profitable with the technology and patents and contracts that they're currently receiving. They're going to be profitable almost immediately. One of the last reasons I'm not a huge fan of GEVO right now is because the entire market's focused right now on electric vehicles in the EV industry. GEVO doesn't fit into electric vehicles. In fact, if you invest in GEVO, you could think of it as hedging your bet against electric vehicles, or even completely betting against electric vehicles, and that electric vehicles are going to fail, and that the zero emission gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel is going to become standard, and there isn't going to be hardly any change in the vehicles we drive. I don't really see that happening. The way Tesla's gaining traction and just the electric vehicle industry as a whole has gained traction over the past 8 months even, I don't see that as a bullish signal for GEVO. The entire market is shifting to electric vehicles. And if the entire car market is shifted to electric vehicles, there is zero use for the gasoline or diesel fuel that GEVO produces. In addition to that, GEVO doesn't have much demand or publicity surrounding their product. It sounds great once you hear about it, okay? Zero emission gasoline. Why hasn't that been created before? I don't know, but it is now. Why not invest in this company? Not a whole lot of people know about the company, which is why the share price has struggled and they haven't gained any traction or steam with their contracts and the demand for their products. So I need not to be biased. There's several reasons I like GEVO in the stock right now. And one of those reasons is just the simple fact that GEVO's stock price rebalanced and fell a little bit today to more normal levels. Another reason I really like this company, as you guys know, it's great technology. And it really should be easy to sell, which is why I don't quite get why the management team has struggled to find customers and contracts. Also, their technology is patented and it's disruptive. Those are two key things if you want to invest in a company, especially an emerging company. If you want them to succeed, those are two things you need to be looking for. This technology has a chance to be adopted on mass scale to the masses. But it also would need the electric vehicle industry to stop progressing at such a fast rate, or even to stop in its tracks, and the electric vehicle industry tanks, Tesla goes bankrupt, and electric vehicles are a thing of the past. That's what GEVO would need for that to happen. Again, like I mentioned earlier, another reason I like this company is if the expansion project works out, they're going to become immediately profitable, and they will stay profitable as long as they keep receiving contracts and demand for their products. Now, like I just mentioned, the demand seems pretty low to me. They don't have a whole lot of contracts out there, and I don't really understand why they haven't inked deals with gas stations around the world. So what do I recommend? Do I recommend you to buy the stock, sell the stock, or hold the stock? If I were in you guys' shoes and I had a little extra cash on hand, I would say buy a few shares. The worst thing that can happen is you can sell out for a loss at a later date if the thing doesn't work out. However, if GEVO's technology and non-emission gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel works out and is adopted on a mass scale, you're going to make a lot of money regardless of how much money you invested in the company. So my personal recommendation, and I am not a financial advisor by any means, my personal recommendation, if you have extra cash right now that you're willing to risk and willing to lose, I would say feel free to buy shares of GEVO, but just let those shares sit. Don't look at those shares every single day. Let them sit and let GEVO grow and just see how it goes. Check back in on those shares 6 months down the road, 12 months down the road, and see where your shares are sitting at before you rethink selling or holding or buying more shares. So with that, guys, that's all I had for you today. I hope you guys really enjoyed, and I hope you guys didn't mind the different setup today. With that, leave a like down below if you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you are new or returning and not yet subscribed yet. With that, guys, peace out.